Oregon's the best football program, the best football team. They got the Nike, the Phil Knight, the whole deal. So on the surface, it seems like Oregon, but the more I look at it, I posted a video where I reviewed everybody. Notre Dame's the clear one you got to target, and of course they are. But after that, I'm a Stanford guy after that. The endowment, the academic, it's just the synergy with the Big Ten. The Big Ten with the administrators, the fact that layer would love to have Stanford, and I agree that then you pull in, even though nobody in Northern California cares to watch Stanford football now, they've been lousy for 3 years. They have been great in football. They've shown the ability to reach that level of football. And then you start to match them up against the Penn States, Michigans, Ohio States. And maybe you start to really reel in a San Francisco, San Jose market. I think Stanford's a great add with Notre Dame. And then
I'll go with that. That's fine. Did what I say make sense? The two primary reasons that they did this was to annex California. I mean it's a state of 40, 60 million people. I mean, I know that the Dodgers have trouble getting clearances, outside of Spectrum systems, but everybody's got to have, Big Ten network on there. I presume everybody's got Pac-12 network on their cable and dish out there. So
that was part of the problem. Pac-12 network had no clearances.
Yeah.
In footprint, out of footprint, there were like 12 people and a small dog watching it.
Yeah.
That was part of the issue. That's why you saw such huge disparities in the numbers, because it wasn't rolled out well. For all the consternation, I remember sitting in the hallways of the Woody, hearing people complaining about how Big Ten Network was being rolled out. Well, the mad scientist Jim Delaney and his people, and Mark Silverstein, who's now at Fox Sports. I mean, they certainly did it right, because the BTN had a plan and got itself up to whatever, 85, 89, 91% clearance across the country. And, being able to, as to Steve's point, getting 15x, it's like the difference between like a dime and $1.50 if you're out of footprint versus in footprint. And it's not about who's watching it. It's not a matter of if you're watching it. It's a matter of if you are a cable household within that footprint, it's that money it's going to be part of your carriage. It's going to be part of your rate. So it doesn't matter if nobody's watching. Everybody's like, well, it doesn't matter. There are 1,000 colleges in Southern California, and this guy's a Cal State Northridge fan, and this guy's a UCSD fan. It doesn't matter. You're all going to be paying up for BTN.
I thought somebody, I'm looking for it on Twitter, posted some very interesting numbers about the audiences for the different schools, and that Oregon, I think their audience for all their games was 33 million, and 7 million of that was the Ohio State game, and that I think the entire Pac-12, all 12 teams, Ohio State eclipsed the audience of all 12 teams combined, or something like that. So
I put that together, Steve. So I just went through Sports Media Watch and went through the ratings for every week, added up the viewership.
Yeah.
And Oregon had 33 million, and then it drops down. I just went through the candidates for membership in the Big Ten. And,
to me, I think that survey over a 5-year period can give you the answers that you're looking for, probably, because they've got to turn around and market North Carolina, Clemson, whoever they take, to the network and say, okay, we added this. What's the extra added value of this? And I don't know. To me, guys, there's a law of diminishing returns here, though, too. When you're talking about now having 24 teams and 10 or 12 conference games in a given weekend, I mean, how do you spread that out to monetize it? They're going to be playing Thursday morning football, Thursday night football, Friday afternoon football, Friday evening football, Sunday night football. I don't know how you do this. You're going to be starting to play games on Wednesday nights to get people in television slots. And I don't know. I think the NFL now strictly on Amazon on Thursday night? Are they doing any Fox or anything, NFL Network or anything on Thursday night?
I don't know.
I don't know
think
how
it's
I don't
exclusive.
know if it's simulcast or whatever, but
I think in local markets they're encouraging Amazon to find local affiliates. Like if it's Cleveland and playing Baltimore, it'll be on over the air in both those cities, on one of the local channels. But if I'm correct in understanding that Amazon is strictly streaming the Thursday night games, the NFL is now basically seeded Thursday night back to college football. You could put a college game on ESPN and probably draw a pretty good rating. I don't know if you want to cannibalize and put a top 10 matchup on Thursday night, but because that'll do well on Saturday in its own right. But Virginia Tech has played 6,000 Thursday night games and so's West Virginia in the course of their program. I'm sure they wouldn't mind a couple here or there or whatever. So I don't know. To me, it seems like Thursday night's a frontier again. If there's no over the air, and I don't know, you consider NFL Network that way, television broadcast of NFL football.
if people are willing to pay $400 for Sunday ticket, they're going to go and watch the Amazon game or the Apple game or whatever for the NFL. So
Yeah,
I don't feel that. I mean, I just think it's just kind of the wave of the future. I don't want to see games on the streaming services because I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to be able to DVR something like that and to be able to go back and rewatch. But with that being said,
it should be archived though.
Yeah, but I don't. You don't have as great controls of going back 10 seconds and everything else. So all of that stuff is kind of clunky for how that works to go from play to play. But the point is that we're going to get to the streaming services. I mean, where we were looking at how the Yes Network for the Yankees, which kind of was a predecessor to a lot of this stuff. And I know like John Hicks was looking at something when he owned the Rangers and the Stars, having his own thing, which then led to the birth of the conference channels and then led to the birth of Longhorn Network, which 4 people watched. I don't think it's necessary. I think there is a lot of room at the table for a lot of people to be able to eat. And having too much inventory is a good problem to have. Not having inventory is the bad problem. We saw what happens when you don't have a lot of inventory. That was called the 2020 season, when games were getting canceled 36 hours in advance, and how in some cases 6 hours in advance. So it will get sorted out if we get to that point. I don't think we're going to be sitting at 24 in 3 years, but super conferences are coming. And I mean, it's just going to be a lot easier to just start opening your mind to them, because it's going to happen. That's where we're going, and that's what it's going to be. I never found it to be a big issue. I mean, when you look at how bowl games were set up back in the day when we were all kids, and there were games on 3 channels at the same time, and you were having to flip around, I like that better than starting bowl games on December 14th and having one standalone. I don't give 2 squirts that South Louisiana and New Mexico State are playing each other in a standalone game by itself. Yeah, I have a sickness, so I'm going to watch it because it's college football, but it doesn't need to be in its own slot. And I don't think that. I mean, we've seen Big Ten games on ESPN, ESPN2, Fox, and on BTN all at the same time. It happens. You're going to have some overlaps. You want to try and squeeze every dollar you can out of it, but it'll work.
I think people should get used to the idea of a Friday night Big Ten game on Apple or Amazon. Just get used to it now, because there's going to be a lot of inventory. I think, and I jotted down what an average Saturday could look like with 20 teams. You could honestly have 4 games on BTN, like from noon to 1 in the morning, just noon, 3:30, 7, 10:30. You could have it to where they've got so many games now on Saturday, you need Big Ten 2 to do like highlights and studio shows. Yeah. That's more advertising. So
think of all the Rodale commercials.
Exactly. All of the farmers only stuff like that the Big Ten likes to run. Plenty of ads for everyone.